Hello everybody, this is Spectre Cosplay here with Nerd Caliber, and I'm here with...
Misa Cosplay.
So how are you enjoying Granite State Comic Con so far, Misa?
I love Granite Con. I'm really excited that it's 2 full days this year. It feels more like, you know, like a normal convention rather than just a hometown convention, which this is my hometown convention. Like, I'm local to right here in Manchester, so it's definitely, you know, one of my must hits every year. And just the fact that we're expanding so fast and it's getting like so phenomenally wonderful and there's so much to see. It's mind-bogglingly awesome to me.
Awesome. So you were just in a cosplay contest and you won. So why don't we talk about the winning costume here?
Well, this character is Daenerys Targaryen from Game of Thrones. I absolutely love her. I'm a little bit obsessed with the show. Some would say unhealthily so, probably. But no, I love her character arc because she starts off really meek, but then gets to be such a strong and independent character, and like she really has a mind of her own, and that really resonates with me. So I feel a deep affinity for her. So I knew as soon as I saw the show that I wanted to do a cosplay of her, and I started kind of planning it conceptually right after the first season aired. And I got it finished just in time for Boston Comic Con this year, which was originally supposed to happen in April. So I got it all done in April and then didn't get a chance to wear it. And it was heartbreaking to me because I put so much work into it. So I'm really glad to have had a second chance and had it really pay off. There's actually a lot of work that you wouldn't even notice going into it. I knew that I definitely wanted to really capture the feel of the original costume, which the character, she's part of, or at this point in the story, she's a member of the Dothraki hordes, who are very tribalistic, and they don't have a lot of fine fabric. So I wanted something that looked really rough, and I wanted to use leathers, and I wanted to, to make it look really rough and gritty, which is actually really difficult for me because I'm very much a perfectionist. So I like to make everything really smooth and clean, all the seams finished. So making it purposely look ragged was went against every grain in my body, but no. So I actually there's a lot of leather and faux leather in it. The top and the loincloth were actually hand woven because I couldn't find any fabric that worked for it. So I actually bought yarn and I made myself a loom in the shape of the top, and I wove the top on that, and then I wove the loincloth just on a rectangular lap loom that I have, and then the dragons, I hand painted all of them in accordance to the colors on the show, and then the leather work is actually one of my favorite parts. I commissioned it from a dear friend who is really good with leather work. It's actually all boiled leather. It's real leather, not fake, and he actually did this piece for the dragon to sit on, and then the arrowhead belt as well.
Wow, a lot of work did go into this. I can see why it won.
Many hours.
All right, so you mentioned about Games of Thrones. So to those who don't know what Games of Thrones is, why don't you give us a little brief synopsis of the show?
Sure. Game of Thrones is a really fantastic fantasy series written by George R.R. Martin. It takes place in a fantasy kingdom called Westeros, which basically is 7 kingdoms that were originally united many centuries back under one ruler. So it's kind of similar to the United States in that you've got a lot of very different areas with very different cultures and ways that they present themselves, but they're all kind of united under this one banner. And it's basically about the power struggle that happens over that one throne that rules over all 7 of the kingdoms. So there's a lot of drama, there's a lot of intrigue, there's a lot of backstabbing, lots of gratuitous violence and sex because it's HBO. But no, it's a really fun series and really well written. I will give a word of warning to anyone just starting to watch the show: do not get too attached to anyone because they will die. That's just my thing. Everyone dies in that show, but it's brilliantly written, and I love it.
Spoiler alert: everyone dies. All right.
Also boobies.
All right. So my next question. You mentioned that you are local to the area. So how many years have you been attending cons?
This is actually only my 3rd year attending cons. I've been sewing my own costumes for a bit longer. I actually went to school for fashion for 2 years before transferring schools and majors, along with my change of schools. So I've been sewing for a very long time, and I started making my own Halloween costumes. And then 3 years ago, my best friend actually invited me to volunteer with her at Boston Comic Con, which has become kind of my stomping grounds. I volunteer with them every year now. And I, all I really knew about conventions is it was a bunch of nerds getting together and a lot of people dressed up in costumes. So I was like, well, I'm going to bring a couple of these costumes that I've made for Halloween and I'm going to wear them at the con. And it was just so much fun. I was like, I just got hooked. I was like, I want to do this every single year now.
You got bit with the convention bug.
Oh yeah, big time. I think probably several of them bit me.
All right, cool. So what's your next conventions for the rest of the year?
I will most likely be attending Rhode Island Comic Con in November. That will be entirely dependent on my work schedule. And if I don't make it to that, then Aresia in January.
Thank you very much for your time, and congratulations on your victory.
Thank you very much.
This is Patrick Cosplay of Nerd Caliber signing out.